Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Milton Keynes Litfest and the launch of the Raising Voices StoryMap. I'm Flora Rees and I'm the Litfest project manager. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all here at the Box Arts Club, which is the lovely venue of our sister organisation, Art Central. And a warm welcome as well to everybody who's watching at home. Thank you so much for joining us. We're live streaming tonight because we want to make sure everyone can enjoy this evening. So tonight is the first public outing of a project the Litfest team has been working on throughout 2025, and one we're actually incredibly excited to be sharing with you this evening. Since April this year, Raising Voices has been encouraging, gathering and curating original poems, short stories and creative non-fiction pieces that are set in, inspired by or a response to places right across our city. Together, they're now creating an interactive online audio-visual story map of Milton Keynes. We're shortly also going to be creating connected sound walks via a mobile app that will be able to guide you on curated walks from story to poem to creative non-fiction piece around specific areas of the city. So watch this space. Those are going to be coming soon. And those of you who've joined us on our literary walks over the last 12 months, thank you very much. You'll know the sort of thing that's going to be done, but you'll be able to guide yourself through it and listen to the pieces as they come up on your app. It's really exciting. So in the last 6 months, we've run 12 workshops in schools, in the Centre MK and online, helping writers to develop their craft and encourage people, old and new, to submit their pieces. The work has been generously supported by the Community Foundation Milton Keynes City Council and the Look Again Heritage Project, by the Centre MK, Walk, Listen, Create, MK Library Services, Poets for the Planet, Ingram Spark and our parent organisation Arts Gateway, to all of whom we are hugely grateful. And it's wonderful to have such a wide range of partners and collaborators. And just a quick thank you to those of you who are here tonight. Thank you to those from those organisations who've joined us celebrating tonight and see the map in action. We've been really thrilled actually with the response we've had from our writers. And today we're launching the story map with 59 fantastic pieces of work. And we are delighted that so many of the writers are here with us tonight. So anyone who's in the map and those that are in the map, can I have a quick hands up so we can just give you, thank you. This is brilliant and we couldn't do it without you. Congratulations. We're also lucky to be joined by some of the artists who are based here in Art Central. Those of you who don't know, there are 90 studios out the back there, people creating wonderful work in Milton Keynes every day. And those whose work is on show tonight, you can see around the room, are bringing Milton Keynes to life visually, through paint, through photography, through textiles. So please do take the time at the end of the evening to have a look at their work and enjoy what they've exhibited here in the box for us tonight. And thank you to them very much for joining us this evening. Now, to launch the story map in style, we've curated a programme of 12 writers to read their pieces live to you this evening. Very much looking forward to that. And at the end, you'll be able to have a chance to try out the story map on a couple of laptops. Also, the QR code will be up there. You can get it straight up on your phone and have a look at what we've done. And we really hope you like it as much as we do. Before we do that, though, I'm going to be very pleased to introduce my colleague, Jakob Rakita, who is going to demonstrate the story map in action and tell you a little bit more about it. So now, over to Jakob. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. I'll stay here to operate the display with on the laptop. But so story map is an interactive piece of programming that allows, as those of you who have contributed know, your writing and recitals to it. The beauty of this setup is that you can attach a piece of writing and recital and geolocate it, as you can see here on the map. The map is dynamic and it allows you to zoom in and out and peruse at your leisure. I will just find my cursor and find, for example, this piece. We've asked the contributors to provide corresponding picture, and most of you have submitted fantastic pictures that adorn your pieces, and recitals. So as you can see, the each piece has got the picture, the name of the writer, and then the recital at the end. All of it is geolocated, so even if you get lost in clicking through one to another, looking at categories for the whole of the Raising Voices project, as well as categories like fiction, poetry, etc. You can always go back to the main page. And for those of you who are thinking about contributing but haven't had the courage or time to submit, this is still open for your contributions. A few tips, though. As you can see, this works wonderfully on desktop, but it works just as well on your mobile devices, tablets and mobile phones. It scales dynamically, but that's what you will see on a tablet or on a laptop. My personal take, the kind of portrait type pictures work better. So that's a tip for those of you who are thinking to submit a new piece or a piece, or additional piece to the ones you have submitted already. I won't dwell too much on this. One more thing to add: the Walk, Listen, Create is an international project that's been running for how many years, Flora?
Several
many? Andrew?
We were founded, we came together in 2019, and we were just freelancers working together, but we formalised as a social enterprise, not-for-profit, in 2020.
Thank you.
All right. So just over 5. But it has grown, and the beauty of this is while you can find the Raising Voices project in the menu, you also find other projects that are running, that are organized by and contributed to by many writers around the UK and around the world. And you can all access this from this one portal. I think I've spoken enough. Thank you for your attention. I'll be here to answer any questions after.
Thank you very much, Jakob, and I do hope you've enjoyed had the little glimpse of the map and that you'll all go and explore it a bit later on. I'm now delighted to invite tonight's readers to share their work with you. So while these pieces share a common theme, obviously, in location, each one brings a unique interpretation of our city and its people, its spaces, its history and its future. And I hope you enjoy them as much as we did. We're starting with Ali Smith. Ali is a theatre producer, director, writer and founder of local community theatre company Roundabout. Originally from Birmingham, Ali moved to Milton Keynes in the 1980s and has performed on Stantonbury stage many times. Her plays have been published by Lazy Bee Scripts and featured on the BBC's Upload Festival, and her script Cadbury's Angels, based on her mum's diaries, won a National Operatic and Dramatic Association Award for Interesting New Script. Ali, please come and read us Stantonbury Theatre Get In. Thank you.
Decades of smells, emotions and memories have taken up residence and hang from the auditorium brick walls like much-loved paintings in a familiar gallery we have visited over and over again. The auditorium doors have closed behind us with a much-rehearsed thunk. A blanket of soundproof marshmallow coddles everyone and everything in its wake. Time is suspended. Reality is suspended. The world doesn't have a ticket for the show, so it must wait outside for us. Waiting, waiting, waiting. It can only imagine the wonders about to unfold behind the doors that have thunked shut. The noise, the smells, the sounds, the spectacle, the tantrums. The show director stands centre stage, warming up for the nervous breakdown they promised themselves after the second rehearsal. Was it only 3 months ago? Seems like years. How hard can it possibly be? I'm not asking you to walk on water. I just want the sofa moving up stage right and the table moving down stage left. We open in 4 hours. Would it be possible to do it today? Marvellous. Noise, smells, voices. Noise, smells, voices. An announcement is made from backstage by a disembodied voice. OK, listen up, everybody. Stage right, ladies' toilets don't flush. The blinds in the men's dressing rooms don't close. And would you all please stop slamming the bloody stage door? More voices join the babbling chorus. Happy voices, angry voices, shouting voices, singing voices. Noise, smells, friendship, voices. Noise, smells, friendship, voices. Lighting. Can we have less yellow in the stage colour wash, please? We're meant to be in Sleeping Beauty's castle, not the jaundice ward of Milton Keynes Hospital. Thank you. Dance practice in the orchestra pit. Costume checks, seams let out, gussets repaired. Sound checks, lighting checks, buttons pressed on and buttons pressed off, switches flicked this way and that way, everything plunged unexpectedly into claustrophobic darkness. Muffled screams, 4-letter expletives as set builders' thumbs get whacked in the unexpected blackout. Noises, smells, friendship, memories, voices. Noises, smells, friendship, memories, voices. Noises, smells, friendship, memories, voices, all blending together in one beautiful, discordant, chaotic harmony that is Stantonbury Theatre getting.
That was a wonderful start to the evening. Thank you so much, Ali. I'm pleased now to introduce Ruth McCracken. Ruth has lived in Milton Keynes for over 40 years, but was born and raised in County Down in Ulster. Over the years, she's had several stories published in various anthologies and has also read at MK Litfest online events and walks. Thank you very much. She can be found occasionally on Instagram at RMCC Writing. Ruth, please come and read your piece.
Murmuration. In the gathering gloom of a February dusk, we stand and wait by a frozen lake, eyes peeled heavenward above the pagoda. The coots creak and the blackbirds cluck, our only company. Under layers of wool and wax, a drip at our nose and cheeks reddened with cold. Beyond, red and white flecks of light sweep along the H6, the muffled hum of other lives, other places to be. But we are here, and this fleeting moment in time's grand march is ours. From nowhere, a few at first, speck after speck, then more, and glorious more, a flight of fancy that grows into a whirling, twirling, whooshing, hither-thithering. Such joie de vivre, no rhyme nor reason, their dance flows with the nonchalant ease of the vibrant, swaggering under a pale half-moon. A plane drifts overhead, solid and staid in a purpling sky. And still they dance. Look! Snake, shark, caterpillar, ball, moustache. Mesmerised by grace and beauty, we forget that nothing lasts forever. An unseen command, but whose? and they begin to descend, so close you might reach out and hold them tight forever. Their white noise drowns the siren's distant wail. The dance slows, mellows, and they drop to roost, spent clockwork toys winding down, rustling the reeds by the hospice, fading until all is silent, all is stillness, and only the memory remains.
Thank you for bringing that so incredibly vividly to life. Our next reader is Phil Sky. Phil is a writer of short stories and novels, mostly in the post-apocalyptic and dystopian genre, for YA and adult readers. His debut novel, A Girl Called Ari, won the Drunken Druid Book of the Year 2020. Strawberry Ice Dream won the Mink 2020 City of Dreams Flash Fiction Grand Prize. He lives in Milton Keynes with his wife and son, where he's slowly working on his fourth novel. Phil.
Thank you. Back to the future world. Darren had the best phone, so he was director. Steve wanted to be Grant Silverthorne, but he didn't have the look. We convinced Chris from the football team to play Grant. Debbie played Francesca Fox, international cat burglar, and she brought along Kate. We filmed straight after school. The house on Southbridge Grove still looks like a Canadian hunting lodge. After Kate dropped the clapperboard, I dialed Chris's number. He was better than any of us expected. Hello? I knew it. When someone builds a time machine, they're asking for trouble. This sounds like a job for Grant Silverthorne, ex-FBI. I'll find that time machine if it's the first thing I do. Chris slid on his sunglasses. Kate rolled her eyes. Darren called, cut. Scene 2, the next house. The Turing house, with its metal roof and drawbridge to the first floor, still looks like an industrial unit. Well, Professor, lay it on me. They broke into the lab, Steve stammered. White coat flapping in the wind, grey wig slipping down towards his glasses. They took the time machine. Luckily, with this transponder, I know they travelled back to June 2nd, 1885. June 2nd, 1885? Why, that's the day of the famous Blue Diamond was brought to Crowborough House. If memory serves, that house once sat on the very spot where this laboratory now sits. I deduce they planned to steal the diamond. We can follow them. How? Because why build one time machine when you can build two? Darren panned his phone to an old refrigerator, now covered in glue gun circuitry and drainage pipes. I can still hear Kate's words when she first saw it. Why the hell would the professor write time machine on his own invention? Scene 3, 1885. The house on the corner still looks like an old stone farmhouse. Black leotard and cat ears, Debbie had gone all out with the Catwoman costume, but it worked. She held up the diamond. I'm taking this diamond back to the future, and you can't stop me! But, gasped Steve, that'll change the future. Chris pushed Steve aside. Not if Grant Silverthorne has anything to say about it. Debbie turned and fled. Scene 4, we filmed amongst the trees around Kent's Hill Playground as Debbie and Chris fought it out for the diamond. I spent 5 years with the masters of Shaolin perfecting the art of monkey kung fu. Pathetic little boy. You should have learned Krav Maga. Finally, Francesca was captured, the diamond returned, and the time machine brought back to the future. As quickly as we could, Kate and I smeared blue makeup all over our faces. Kate shook her head. This is so lame. Darren got us in frame as Grant Silverthorne, Francesca Fox, and the professor arrived back in the present. But, stammered Debbie, everyone's blue. Steve adjusted his glasses. We changed the future. Chris dropped to his knees. No! You maniacs! God damn you all to hell! Kate rolled her eyes. It was a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. It just brings back memories, doesn't it? Wonderful. Our next reader is Casey Stewart. Casey is a 20-year-old poet from Bedford who writes to help with her mental health. Her poetry journey started out penning poems for schools and funerals, which has since evolved into her attending local writing workshops and earning recognition in local competitions. She was the winner of the Bedford Competitions Bedford Poets Prize 2024, which is a wonderful achievement. Casey, please come read us your poem.
Thank you. This is a future memory, 13th of Feb. Eyes aflame with party lights, close enough to call them stars. I sparkle under your touch, explosive in your hold as we dance. Once it all gets too much, we burst through the doors, escapade to the chill of February's air. Peace is when it's just us, and this expanse of immaculate emerald grass. Sprinklers becoming gentle rain, we run through the green, breast heaving with real magic, laughing childlike, until the night sky swallows us. And everything is okay. Everything is okay.
Thank you, Casey, for sharing that really beautiful poem with us. It's wonderful. We're going to stay on the golf course, in fact, for our next piece by Ralph Keats. Ralph had the good fortune to have made Milton Keynes his home for the last 53 years and has seen it blossom from a planner's blueprint into a thriving, vibrant, green-lunged metropolis. Like many others, he came here to work with that engine of social enlightenment, the Open University. Now retired, he lives in beautiful Stony Stratford and spends his time writing, playing guitar, seeing his family and cultivating his garden. Ralph, thank you.
The Caddy. That night, Mick prayed. He was playing Abbey Hill's best golfer, Ray Kane, in a competition the next morning. Mick was a keen but hopeless 32 handicap hacker. He prayed not to win, no prayer could achieve that, but to avoid being humiliated. The next morning, Kane was on the first tee, ostentatiously warming up. He curtly shook Mick's hand, then smashed his drive 300 yards down the middle of the fairway, following up with a clenched fist and triumphant yes. Mick gulped. Suddenly, there was a ping on his mobile. An anonymous text that read, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Proverbs 16-18. Mick addressed his ball nervously, hands trembling, stomach churning, left leg jigging up and down uncontrollably. He swung and watched in mouth-gaping disbelief as his drive somehow raced 50 yards past Kane's. Kane slammed his putter into his bag angrily. Next, a short par 3 hole. A tiny green nestled on a narrow bank across a pond fringed by trees and flanked by steep bunkers. Kane's powerful tee shot soared heavenward, only to plummet deep into a bunker. He struggled to get down in 5. Mick's tee shot sliced high, pinballed among the treetops, just missed a pigeon, and flopped onto the green, a mere inch from the pin. Mick won the hole. Kane swore and hurled his putter into the trees. Mick pretended not to notice, embarrassed by his outrageous fluke. Another ping on his mobile. "I have escaped with the skin of my teeth, Job," 1920, read the mysterious text. They continued. Cain watched as Mick's miraculous good fortune continued hole after hole. His mood sank from supercilious arrogance to frustration, rage, and finally to abject surrender. Mick felt sorry for him. The mysterious text made him feel guilty. Was his prayer being answered? If so, he hadn't wanted this. All he wanted was to avoid humiliation, not inflict it on someone else. At the 17th hole, Cain was only one ahead. He took a mighty swing on the tee, but topped his ball, which scuttled low into bushes, and was lost. Mick glanced at his mobile. Another text. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword unto his place, for all they that take up the sword shall perish with the sword. Matthew 26-52. Mick won the hole with a shot that hit a fence, startled a rabbit, bounced against the pin, and rattled into the hole. Cain was now sobbing quietly. With one hole to play, they were level. On the 18th tee, yet another ping. And though I understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, yet if I have not charity, I am nothing. Corinthians 13:2. Mick knew what he had to do. He deliberately threw the last hole with some well-disguised duff shots. He congratulated a relieved and faintly smiling Cain on winning. After all, it was only a game.
Thank you, Ralph. Wonderful piece. And as you'll see at the bottom, we have other pieces recommended that you might also enjoy if you've enjoyed that one. So do keep enjoying the story map. I'm now pleased to invite Jackie's brain cell. John, aka Jackie's brain cell, is a 27-year-old history graduate from Milton Keynes, where he continues to live and work. His poem, What is the Point?, explores the relationship between identity and place and how the removal of familiar landscapes can create a sense of severance and confusion about the place you call home. John, Jackie, please come up.
Hello everyone, nice to be here. Excuse the weird pseudonym. This is my poem, What is the Point? I never hung out much around Midsummer Place. That's beside the point. I never listened to metal or painted my face, but that's beside the point. I used to like that old oak tree that was beside the point, but it was drowned, delimbed, discarded, and I guess somewhere there is a point to be made of trying to make it in this place with its roundabouts and grids and ever-changing face, a shiny new city just trying to keep pace, though some things held sacred are now being replaced, like the Agora, with its red bricks and roller skates, now just piled debris behind plasterwood walls and locked gates. Or Jaipur, now fallen into decay, whose last meal was a curry, but it was taken away. Or that strange red pyramid, what was it called again? It had this multiplex cinema and some old bingo den. I can't remember its name. What is the point? It feels like such a shame, but what is the point?
Thank you very much. Very thought-provoking. I'm pleased next to introduce Anjali Sharma. Anjali is a curious, playful creative from Milton Keynes who's taken to writing down the plot so she doesn't lose it. Both inspired and exhausted by the city she calls home, she seeks to capture and immortalise this dissonance through her work. Anjali, please come up.
My allotted time. I could never remember the code. It didn't matter though. It was little effort to sling first my bag, and then myself over the low gate. I wondered why the association bothered with a padlock at all. I made my way down through the plots, pausing every now and then to admire the neat straight lines of number 19's onions, the twisted spirals of 23's peas, and the cheery sunflowers of 34. Our plot stood out like a sore thumb. We're talking about a thumb that's been mistaken for a nail once too often. A wild, unruly tangle of thorns that threatened to overspill their assigned territory. I grimaced to myself as I spied a huddle of nettles by the water trough, waiting in line for their next victim. These ones had flowers, though. I recalled an old friend once telling me that the nettles with flowers didn't sting. They were a different subspecies, a dead nettle. I battled the temptation to run my finger along its toothed leaves. Better not to chance it. Right, to work. Placing my bag down on the tufty green border of the plot, I pulled out a large mixing bowl. Then began the arduous task of picking our bounty, snaking my hand through the thick brambles to slide the ripest of raspberries from their stalks, leaving behind dimpled cream cones. My mouth watered as I continued to work, and I couldn't resist popping the odd berry in, flattening the fruit against my palate with my tongue to stop the seeds from getting stuck in my teeth, letting the juice burst out. By the time I had finished, my hands were scratched and stained, but the bowl was full, heaped with a pile of knobbly ruby gems. A jam, perhaps? Maybe a pavlova stacked high with them. That is, if I could find the time. I gently flicked an aphid off one, then sat down on the bench. I didn't want to go home. Not yet. Just wanted to stay and sit a while in this safe little estate, tucked away in sage little suburbia. So I sat and gorged myself instead, knowing that however many berries I'd eat, an abundance would still remain. The drop in temperature was my cue. I meandered back to the path and hauled myself and my winnings over the gate. I glanced back for a second and watched as the sun slowly kissed the horizon, and the allotment, the plants, and the raspberries were swallowed by the night.
Thank you for another wonderful story. I'm pleased next to introduce Helena Ray. Helena is an artist and writer from Milton Keynes. She writes flash fiction, has recently completed her first novel, and has almost finished writing her first play. It's lovely to have you here. Please, Helena, come up.
This is Bar Central Ghosts. Every day we encounter ghosts and we do not realise. The ghosts of moments that have passed and of people who stood here, who walked these streets and danced all night, dropping their energy, leaving traces of their time, their desire, their experience. We are walking over these traces, our modern footsteps dulling and muddying the memories, but it does not matter. Most people cannot feel it. They want new, progress, change, and it is my job to give it to them. I sell things that do not belong to me to people who can afford to possess them but will never understand them. Land and buildings and opportunities. Build here, progress there, expand, expend and alter. But I was not always like this, with my impressive suit and my shiny car. No, I lived another life before this one. I was a night creature, a wanderer, an explorer. I spent so long waiting to feel ready for life to happen, only to wake up one day and find it has already happened. The change was gradual. So much so I did not notice until I stumbled across the metal door sign in the City Museum. Bar Central. Taken down when it closed, I suppose, and suddenly my history had become artifact. I stood still, frozen, my body aching with the desire to go back there, so I jump into my shiny car and I drive, my thoughts filled with the darkness and the nights. Bar Central has gone. I stand on the pavement, staring at the shredded wires exposed to the sky, a building torn open, its inside secrets revealed. I never saw it in daylight. It was never meant to be seen in daylight, and as I stand here, transported, feeling and remembering the nighttime, all the promises and possibilities, when I had too much energy and nothing to do but spend it. That is when I see them, the others, just like me, the Bar Central ghosts still dancing in the sky.
Thank you very much. Our next reader is poet Neil Beardmore. Neil has performed his poetry widely, including at St Ives Festival. Published in Acumen, Orbis, Cannon's Mouth, the French Literary Review, Allegro, Sarasvati and others. Making Cars and Blue Art Guitars, his new selection, was released to acclaim in 2023, and he placed in the top 8,000 entries of Abachi's 2024 competition. His interview and works now appear in issue 81. It's great to have you here with us, Neil. Please come and read your piece.
Well, it's a privilege to be amongst so much talent. I recall in 1986 I was running workshops in Milton Keynes, and we were using Tipex and vetted typewriters and stuff. I never dreamed that I would be here with so much writing talent in Milton Keynes. It really is a privilege to be here. And thanks to Flora and Jacob and Dave Wakely and many others who have put this all together. My poem's about the Roman villa at Bancroft Park, and I did quite a bit of research, and as I went into doing my research, AI indicated to me that Milton Keynes hasn't got very much history. That's its downside. And I suppose it's not like Chester or York with nice medieval buildings and things like that. But it does have a Bronze Age fort at Danesborough, up in the hills, and south of Fenny Stratford was Maggio Vinium, which was a Roman town. So we do have lots of history here, and I imagine that there were so many chariots at that time that they built the first roundabout down near Maggio Vinium. So there you go. But the Roman villa itself is very interesting, so do take a walk there. It's one of 3 in Milton Keynes. Unfortunately, one of the others is under the playing field at Stantonbury, so you can't see that one. But when you look into it, people in the past were very much like us, and they kept dogs, and they've actually found the bones of an Irish wolfhound there. You know, it's a pretty vicious sort of dog, I guess. Okay, and we've got a wonderful mosaic in the centre of town near the toilets, which comes from Bancroft Park, and there's evidence when the Romans did leave that other people squatted in the villa because they found evidence of burnt mosaics. And then, of course, gradually the stones were nicked for other building projects. This is Roman Villa, Bancroft Park. Dog walkers dawdle along hedges that hem the foundations in. A land-owning merchant resided here, entertained contacts and customers who soaked in the caldarium and frisked in the frigidarium. Slaves back and forth carried demands. Wine must not be spilled on mosaics. Slaves are easily sold and replaced. A family in a conquered land with only Boudica to complain. The woman of the house commissioned a brooch worth a commoner's salary, with coins stamped Vespasian and Valentinian. A dunnock jumped pecks under hedges near a flock of daffodils, and a dog off a lead chases a homeless seagull round the reflecting pool. An express slithers behind with a blurt. Dog walkers consult phones. Deals done for perfume, linen, images of gods, transport arranged, presents given, hands shaken in the distant echo of empire. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you for the reminder about how far back our history goes, way beyond Bar Central. It's wonderful. Our next reader is Sue Turbot. Following a long career directing BBC News and current affairs TV programmes, then running her own video production business, Sue Turbott's debut novel, Eagle Sister, was published in 2024. Sue's now working on her second novel, although she's frequently distracted by the allure of writing short stories and flash fiction, for which we can only apologise. When not at her desk, Sue can be found hill walking, running, volunteering, knitting, cold water swimming and learning Irish. Sue, please can we have your piece?
My piece is triggered by a memory of a bit of history a bit more recent. I don't know those of you that can remember Cliff Richard's video made in the shopping centre, but this is what's triggered this piece. Wired for the future. It's September 1981, and Milton Keynes shopping centre is not yet 3 years old. The UK is in turmoil, undergoing rapid social and economic change, and tension is high after a summer of inner-city rioting. While Thatcher sets about decimating the welfare state, privatising public services and deregulating the workplace, our Cliff, pop icon, legend and all-out summer holiday good boy, sings and roller skates through clean concrete underpasses and into the world's longest shopping centre. From John Lewis to House of Fraser, Cliff and his dancers, clad in spandex, leg warmers and big hair, skate over travertine marble, past clerestory glazing and troughs of subtropical plants and temperate trees. They are smiling, happy, bright and pink, green, yellow, colourful. In 1981, colour is a thing. In Milton Keynes, it's a futuristic, bold and brash thing. Skating up Midsummer Arcade, Cliff sings of a future where he's plugged in, wired for sound, celebrating our new concrete jungle with a commercially catchy pop song. With headphones on, he's in his isolated Walkman world, effortlessly passing glass, concrete, steel, new art and new ways to make people spend their money. There's no sign here of the recession, unemployment and those this new society will leave behind. In Brixton, Toxteth and Moss Side, colour is a black and white thing. In jumpy Jamaican one-drop reggae beats, Bob Marley sings of the isolation, alienation and lack of connection this new urban landscape delivers. Pumped out over hot streets on ghetto blasters, music here is a shared community experience where young black men lead normal, messy lives without roller skates. Fed up with the scapegoat politics, unemployment, poverty and sus laws, they vent their anger, attacking buildings, setting fire to cars and fighting the police. This is war, shouts the sun. Unaware of the dissonance, Cliff doesn't blow his fuses. He has a cassette in his pocket, a head full of music, and he's out on the street. There's no inner city deprivation, no decay, no riots to bother you here. There are no bumps on the shiny new limestone walkways he skates toward a reshaped future. In leather jacket and trousers, he circles Octo, the one-sided, one-edged, endless and disorientating sculpture puzzle. In a different maze, men are on hunger strike for the right to claim paramilitary status. Heroes or villains, they die in the fight for a different future. Cliff sings on. He loves speakers, stereo, AM and FM. He is ecstatic. We are all ecstatic, aren't we? We have a prince and princess fairy tale wedding. The Yorkshire Ripper is locked up. Bucks Fizz win Eurovision. And Trident will now protect us all. You cannot be serious, yells McEnroe. There is no such thing as society, Thatcher says. And Cliff shows us just how cool it will be in this isolationist new world. Just put on your headphones. Turn up the volume. It's all about me now. Well, how did that go?
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. Our next reader is Charlotte Sang. Charlotte is a practicing solicitor who lives in Milton Keynes. When she isn't wrangling over the small print, she enjoys reading, writing, travelling, playing video games and music. She particularly enjoys fantasy stories and collections of myths, legends and folk tales from around the world. She can't quite seem to shake off the fiction writing habit she developed during COVID, so she's planning to see where it takes her. Now, Charlotte can't actually be with us this evening, so I'm pleased to say we're going to return to the story map itself so that she can share her flash fiction story, Lady of the Lakes.
Lady of the Lakes by Charlotte Sang. It's a lovely little starter lake, the Kelpie estate agent said to me. You've got all the amenities, good pH level, connection to local waterways, a recently modernised reed bed. My mother glanced at the nearby group of humans running around the shore in brightly coloured leggings, then at the single algae-encrusted crisp packet floating nearby, and then at each other. Nimue managed to keep her expression politely neutral. Nessie tried, to her credit, but had never been as good at controlling her anima. A tiny rain cloud formed over the surface of the lake. Lovely neighbourhood, the Kelpie added, ignoring my very famous lake spirit mothers with impressive fortitude. So, what do you think? I'll take it, I said. Both my mothers inhaled sharply. Viv, dear, Nimue said, are you sure about this? It's a lake, I said. That's good enough for me. Look, darling, we can find you a nice stream in the wild, Nimue said. Wouldn't it be nicer with fewer nasty mortals running around to ruin the ambience? Or have you thought about moving abroad? Lakes are much cheaper in the Baltics. I don't want a stream and I don't want to move abroad. Darling, at your current anima level, we all know how bad anima inflation's gotten over the past few centuries, the Kelpie said, sympathetically. His dripping wet haunches quivered in anticipation of a sail. I took out my pocket knife and sliced my palm. Bright blue blood welled into the cut. I leaned down over the water and placed my hand under the surface. By mine blood and by mine magic and by mine lasting intent, I do claim these waters, from this day until my dying day, so mote it be. The Kelpie flashed me a grin, full of pointed teeth, while my mothers looked on grimly. I hope you know what you're getting into, their expression said. It's 20 years later, and I don't regret a thing. Given how little I paid for the lake, it's turning out to be a ridiculous return on anima investment. Somehow, the humans running and walking around the lake are actually increasing the rate of generation rather than reducing it. Perhaps it's because they built it. Yes, a human occasionally throws in a plastic bottle or plays their music too loudly, and I'm required to intervene, but something in the magic seems to recognise the debt. And it isn't like the wild is totally absent. There have been carp, ducks and herons, even otters from time to time. A decade or two more to work on it, and I'm sure even my mothers will come round. Or maybe not. They wouldn't be the first traditionalist spirits to bury their heads in the sand and refuse to admit the world has changed. That's fine with me, because I hear the other teardrop lakes are still up for grabs. After all, why settle for being the guardian of one lake when there are 3 other nice ones nearby?
And a big thank you to Charlotte for that wonderful piece, and I hope you'll enjoyed seeing it live on the story map. Our final piece tonight is from Chris Allen. Chris works as a clinical psychologist for the NHS. He's a member of an MK-based creative writing group and also a reading group. Following a recent motorcycle accident, he's reduced his time working and hopes to spend more time writing. We hope you do. Chris.
The curtain falls. In the evening, the theatre is filling. MK Gallery closes. Abandoned art in bare rooms. The clamour is outside, queues building for bag searches and ticket checks. Inside the foyer, a rush to buy programmes, take seats for tonight's entertainment. Actors, singers, dancers, pantomime villains taking the stage, contorting bodies to please, audiences clapping, daring difference, dreaming they could also be somehow better, somehow changed, and are, at least for an hour, until the curtain falls.
thank you, Chris, for bringing these wonderful readings to a powerful close. And please, can we have another round of applause for all our wonderful writers? We're now coming to the end of this evening's programme, but the Raising Voices project will, we hope, go from strength to strength. We would like to have pieces in every corner of the map, showcasing the rich quality and diversity of Milton Keynes writers, especially ahead of the city's 60th anniversary coming up in 2027. So please, explore the map, get inspired and write a piece for us. Anyone can submit at any time, as many times as you like, on our website, which is mklitfest.org. And if you go there now, there is now a link straight through to the story map, which I'm delighted that Dave has put up this evening already for us. I must also add a quick save the date for MK Litfest April Festival, which is from the 22nd to 25th of April in central Milton Keynes next year. Please do come along. I want to say a big thank you again to all the writers, both those featured tonight and everybody already in the story map. We literally couldn't do this without you, and the opportunity to read and promote your work really is a privilege, so thank you. We look forward to seeing more writing from writers in the story map. In other Litfest events throughout 2026, we hope to bring you some more of our literary walks featuring many of our writers that hopefully you've seen tonight. And of course, in our annual Mink competitions this year's, by the way, the theme is the trees. Submissions are open until 18th of January. This is our creative writing competition. There are leaflets with more information available, or read more on our website, mklitfest.org, and we'd love you all to enter. Thank you again to our partners, our funders and sponsors for the fantastic support you give to the literary arts and culture here in Milton Keynes. And we hope that you are as proud of this project as we are. We are so excited to have launched it tonight, and we just hope that it will go from, as I said, from strength to strength and really become something to show off what we've got here in Milton Keynes. And I'd like to say a personal thank you to the Litfest and Arts Gateway teams and volunteers whose commitment and support make this all possible. So